At the grocery store, Iris makes eye contact with a guy named Josh. He becomes so flustered trying to flirt with her that he accidentally knocks over all the oranges on the shelf. They both laugh, breaking the ice, and they quickly form a connection. Later on, the new couple decides to take a trip together. Iris notices that their GPS isn't displaying the road they're on, and Josh suspects it might be a private driveway. When they finally arrive at the lake house, Iris thanks the car and insists that Josh do the same. Iris feels anxious, worried that Josh's friends will dislike her, especially Kat, but Josh reassures her otherwise. When Kat welcomes them at the door, she's thrilled to see Josh, but rather distant towards Iris. After meeting the rest of the group, Iris unpacks without noticing a peculiar, small object in her bag. During dinner, Patrick recounts how he met his partner Eli, and Iris resonates with their tale of love at first sight, expressing intense sentiments about her life with Josh. Kat's boyfriend, Sergey, is reluctant to discuss his job, vaguely describing it as a very unsavory business. His wealth is evident, given that he owns the house. After the meal, Kat confides in Iris that Sergey is married to someone else and treats Kat more like an accessory than a partner. This revelation unsettles Iris as she can't envisage a relationship devoid of love. Kat admits she's apprehensive about Iris because she fears being replaced. Iris reassures Kat, saying she couldn't be replaced, and admits she wishes she had Kat's boldness, as she often feels inhibited by something inside her holding her back. Later, as the group dances, Iris observes Kat whispering to Josh. Feeling uneasy, Iris pulls Josh away from Kat to dance with her. The night concludes with an intimate moment between Iris and Josh, but when Iris attempts to talk about her emotions afterward, Josh simply instructs her to sleep. The following morning, Iris wants to go to the lake, but Josh, nursing a hangover, opts to stay and rest. After she leaves, Josh finds the curious item and connects it to his phone, discovering it's a USB drive. At the lake, Iris is startled to find a knife in her pocket. Sergey then appears, attempting to strike up a conversation, but Iris feels uneasy and tries to leave. Sergey persuades her to relax and stay, prompting Iris to sit back down. He then asks her to apply sunscreen to his back. As Iris does so, Sergey grabs her hand, saying it's all right because it was Kat's idea, and she told him he'd find Iris there. Sergey then pulls her close, ignoring Iris's protests, and begins to kiss her. Shortly afterward, Iris returns to the house, covered in blood and holding the knife. She explains that Sergey tried to assault her, and she acted in self-defense. While Kat rushes to find his body, Josh asks Iris for details. Iris recounts how she hit Sergey with a bottle, and in retaliation, he struck her and attempted to kill her, leaving her no choice but to use the knife. Iris insists she didn't want to die because she wanted to see Josh again, but Josh simply tells her to go to sleep. Her eyes turn white, and her mind shuts down, revealing that she's actually a robot. Later, Patrick binds Iris to a chair, while Eli administers medicine to help Kat sleep. The men are baffled by how this situation unfolded, believing these robots had safety mechanisms. They agree to inform the police, and Josh asks his friends for a moment to say goodbye. Josh then reactivates Iris, and she panics upon realizing she's restrained. She insists her actions were in self-defense, and Josh believes her, as her programming doesn't allow her to lie. He explains that she's a companion robot, and he's content with her fabricated emotions. To demonstrate, he uses his phone to make her speak in different languages. Iris is perplexed because she possesses memories of living a full life, yet Josh informs her that it's all fabricated. According to him, the developers programmed some memories to give her a basic backstory and personality. Even their initial encounter at the supermarket was staged, selected from a standard list of meet-cute scenarios. A flashback reveals a group of delivery men dropping off Iris in a box at Josh's apartment, along with various women's clothing. After Josh signs the user agreement, he's instructed to wait for Iris to sync with his phone in order to establish a love link, creating an emotional bond with her. These companion robots are unaware of their non-human nature and exist solely to fulfill their owner's desires and needs. Customization features include options for voice, eye color, and intelligence. To reset them to factory conditions, there's a thumbprint sensor located behind their ear. They are also constrained by numerous government regulations, preventing them from becoming too powerful or too intelligent. This programming ensures they cannot lie or cause harm. Once Iris completes syncing with Josh's phone, he sits across from her and introduces himself. Iris scans him, and the chosen meet-cute scenario plays in her mind, initiating the love link. She then awakens, completely in love with him, and Josh promptly leads her to the bedroom. In the present, Iris continues to reject this reality, insisting that she genuinely experiences emotions. Josh reminds her that it's all just programming. Even her tears are merely water from a reservoir in her body, which he refills during maintenance. Iris decides to stop arguing and expresses a desire to work things out with Josh, but he refuses. At that moment, Kat enters the room, urging Josh to shut Iris down. While Josh steps away with Kat to discuss further details, Iris spots the knife on the floor and begins dragging her chair toward it. She tumbles in the process, but manages to reach the knife and free herself. Meanwhile, Josh and Kat are in another room, discussing their scheme. It is revealed they intended for Iris to kill Sergei as a means to eliminate him without repercussions and claim his money. When Josh comes back to Iris, she strikes him in the throat and seizes his phone. She then instructs Kat to take Josh to the hospital and leaves the house, with Patrick witnessing her departure from outside. Shortly after, Josh explains to Eli that the USB stick contains a modding program, which allowed him to jailbreak Iris, gaining access to usually restricted coding. He had enhanced her aggression and self-defense settings and disabled the safeguards preventing her from inflicting harm. His intention was to reset her, but now she has fled. Eli is alarmed upon realizing Josh's actions were aimed at making Iris kill Sergei. Josh defends his actions by revealing Sergei's involvement in gun, drug, and human trafficking. Meanwhile, Kat opens Sergei's safe, revealing a substantial sum of money and a gun. Eli is thrilled about the cash, but questions why Josh and Kat involved him if the whole getaway was just a ruse to eliminate Sergei. Josh clarifies that their goal was purely the money, and they didn't want to risk corroborating their story through other means. Now that the truth is out, Eli is willing to share the wealth with Patrick as well. Eli suggests that Patrick should get a cut too, but Josh dismisses him. An enraged Eli then disables Patrick, revealing he too is a robot. He berates Josh for nearly jeopardizing his relationship, leading to a heated argument. Kat intervenes, manipulating Eli by highlighting the millions he'll receive just for helping locate Iris in the woods. Eli declares he wants the gun, but Josh assures him it's unnecessary. Nevertheless, Eli takes the gun, driven by the knowledge that Iris is aware of Josh's password. In the forest, Iris runs until she needs a break. She stops to rest and unlocks Josh's phone to tweak her settings. She alters her eye color, deepens her voice, and boosts her intelligence to 100%. As the group enters the woods to look for her, Iris weighs her options. She can't hitchhike due to the blood that would scare people, and walking will take too long, especially with Josh potentially waiting to eliminate her back home. Iris realizes that Josh's phone can also control the car's AI, which could shuttle her home. She just needs to sneak back to the house without being spotted. On her way, she overhears the men talking and hides behind a tree. Eli is still panicking over Josh's actions, stating he would never meddle with someone's programming. This prompts Patrick to confess he knows he's a robot since he pieced together clues over time. Eli is puzzled because robots aren't supposed to lie. Yet Patrick had spoken about their first meeting as if it were genuine. Patrick explains that while the meeting may not have occurred, his memories are authentic, with their scenario being they met at a party where Patrick accidentally stepped on Eli's dinosaur costume tail. Eli expresses his love for Patrick, assuring he would never treat him like Josh did Iris. Patrick reciprocates with his own love, and they share a kiss. Suddenly, Josh's phone vibrates, catching the men's attention. So Iris sprints away as Eli starts shooting. Hearing the gunshot, Josh and Kat rush toward the noise. The group chases Iris, and she accidentally collides with Eli, sending them tumbling down a hill. The gun slips, and while Iris tries to seize it, Eli grabs her legs, causing her to fall. Eli manages to get the gun first. A struggle ensues, resulting in Eli being accidentally shot and killed. The others watch from atop the hill, and Josh attempts to command Iris to shut down, but she's already too far, sprinting toward the lake house. She jumps into the car and closes the door on his hand. Josh pounds on the window, demanding she opens the door, but she pays no heed. Iris instructs the car to drive her home, but the AI only acknowledges Josh's voice. While Josh attempts to break the window with a rock, Iris adjusts her voice settings to mimic his. The car finally engages, running over Josh's foot as it speeds away. Moments later, the car's AI informs Iris that it's been reported stolen, forcing it to stop in its tracks, leaving Iris unable to exit. At that instant, she receives a call from Josh, filled with apologies and suggesting they escape together for a fresh start. When she questions the deaths, he claims they can blame Patrick. Unmoved, Iris refuses to return, expressing she can't forgive being coerced into killing, then hangs up. Desperate, Josh retrieves his phone from Eli's body and connects the USB stick to alter Patrick's programming. He intends for Patrick to help track Iris, but Patrick, mourning Eli, refuses to comply. So Josh resets him with the button behind his ear. He establishes a new love link, modifying the Halloween party memory to replace Eli. Meanwhile, Iris kicks the door until the cracked glass loosens. She climbs out through the window, only to encounter a police car nearby. Deputy Hendricks attempts to communicate, but she has set her language to German, preventing understanding, as she's now incapable of lying. Hendricks catches a few of her words, revealing his awareness of the situation. He offers Iris a ride back to the lake house, but when she refuses, he tries to come closer, noticing the blood-stained knife inside. Quickly drawing his gun, Hendricks proceeds to handcuff Iris. Suddenly, Patrick appears and attacks Hendricks, using the officer's own gun to repeatedly strike him until he is lifeless. Iris attempts to flee, but Patrick seizes the phone and shuts her down. Back at the house, Josh is tending to his injured hand while Kat is recklessly mixing alcohol with excessive medication. They both become anxious upon seeing a police car arrive, only to realize it's Patrick driving Hendricks's vehicle. Patrick retrieves Iris from the trunk, shocking the others when they discover the officer's corpse inside the car. Kat hurries inside to pack her share of the money as Josh tries to reassure her not to feel guilty. He argues Sergei deserved what happened as he believed him to be a mobster. Kat, however, reveals Sergei actually ran a sod farming business, and Josh's assumptions were merely based on Sergei being Russian. Despite this, Kat still thinks he got what he deserved due to his treatment of women. Josh laments that all women in his life seem to use him and attempts to prevent Kat from leaving, but she simply walks past him. As Kat approaches the door, Josh commands Patrick to stop her, resulting in the robot stabbing Kat. She manages to sit beside Iris on the couch before she expires. Moments later, Patrick prepares a meal for Josh, who joins Iris at the table after freshening her up and dressing her in new clothes. He awakens her, and she realizes she's handcuffed to the chair. After Josh switches Iris's language back to English, they discuss their predicament. Josh plans to pin all the deaths, including Kat's, on Iris, arguing that her demeanor set the events in motion. Iris counters that it was his greed that caused everything, revealing she knows about the scheme because she overheard Eli and Patrick in the forest. She also remarks on his need for control, and mocks him for having a small ego. Enraged, Josh reduces her intelligence to 0 and instructs her to place her hand above the table, where he sets a candle beneath it. He asks if she feels pain, and she confirms she does. At that moment, Josh receives a call from the company notifying him that someone will arrive to collect Iris in 30 minutes. Meanwhile, Iris sheds tears but cannot physically respond to the flames creeping up her hand and arm. Josh orders Patrick to extinguish the fire, and Patrick simply dumps a glass of water on it. Next, Josh commands Iris to take the gun and end herself. Despite saying no, her hand complies, pulling the trigger and destroying her. Josh bids her farewell and gently closes her eyes. When the company technicians arrive, Josh fabricates a story about Iris malfunctioning. Patrick, posing as Hendrix, supports Josh's account. Although the technicians comment that Patrick looks familiar, they proceed to move Iris's body while detailing the robot termination process, mentioning they will download her footage to prevent fraud. It turns out her head only houses the Wi-Fi antenna, while essential components are located in her torso. They'll transport Iris in their van to assess her. En route, the technicians confess they never truly believed Josh's story, suspecting Iris had been modified. They just need concrete evidence before making any claims. They've encountered many bizarre situations with people who purchase robot women for target practice or keep them imprisoned in basements for torture. After they hook Iris up in the van and try to leave, they find Patrick blocking the way and realize he's an outdated model. Suddenly, Patrick opens fire, killing the driver. The second technician escapes the van, fleeing into the forest, only to stumble over the bodies. Meanwhile, the van's equipment successfully reboots Iris and she quickly disconnects herself. Patrick finds the technician and attempts to shoot, but he's out of ammo, so he resorts to choking him against a tree. At this moment, Iris arrives with a taser, but due to her system reset, she can't attack directly. Patrick slaps her and seizes the taser from her. In desperation, Iris tells Patrick that Josh is exploiting him and recalls Patrick's words about his love for Eli. The memory of the party glitches in Patrick's mind as Iris reminds him that she can't lie. Overwhelmed by resurfacing emotions, Patrick whispers, "I love you, Eli," before using the taser on himself, shutting down. The technician thanks Iris for saving him, and she asks for his assistance. Back at the house, Josh is gathering all the money when he hears the door. Assuming it's Patrick, he asks if the job is complete, and a voice says yes. Suddenly, music starts playing, prompting a bewildered Josh to check the other room, where he finds Iris mimicking Patrick's voice. Cycling through the voices of the group, she reveals that the technician has restored her autonomy. Josh attempts to alter her settings via his phone but fails. She lifts the gun, and though he claims it's empty, Iris proves otherwise by shooting the wall. Iris tells him it feels wrong to shoot him and admits it's a lie, which she now can do. When she says Josh means nothing to her, he moves closer, claiming she can't harm him because she still loves him. As Iris struggles with her memories, Josh seizes the opportunity to snatch the gun and throw her against the wall. He grabs her hair, hurling her into the furniture. Iris tries to escape, but Josh repeatedly slams her around. Eventually, he pins her down, pounding her head on the floor while demanding she acknowledge he is everything to her. She complies, and Josh thanks her before aiming the gun at her stomach. He asks for final words, and Iris responds, "Go to sleep, Josh," before grabbing a fallen corkscrew to stab him in the forehead. The electric tool drills into his brain and eye, killing him. Afterward, Iris washes up, removing the burned skin from her hand to expose the mechanical parts. Then, she dresses in Kat's clothes, gathers all the money, and drives off in one of Sergei's cars. While driving, she waves with her bare hand at a couple in another car.